Hello, Renew Health Warriors. Welcome to Renew Health Thursday. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Owusu. I'm the owner of Renew Health Clinic, as well as the owner of Dr. Owusu Skincare and Wellness, and the senior pastor of Living Free Now Church in Columbus, Georgia. Welcome to our channel. This is a positive channel, and this channel we encourage the consumption or the increased consumption of fruits and vegetables for to get to live a healthy lifestyle, so that you can basically improve your illnesses, and then get healthy. So eventually the goal is to come off your medications with you working in conjunction with your doctors. So this is a positive channel, and we want to encourage that, so that in the end you can really be or express your best self to the world and to yourself. Okay, so with that said, last week we did a series on the week before. We did a series on how foods affect, how the foods we eat affect us, and then we also finished up with that with encouragement on our healthy lifestyle, because sometimes we slide back and slip and slope but at the same time, when we do that, this is a healthy journey, long journey, so we basically have to jump back on the bandwagon and just keep it moving. It happens to all of us, happens to the best of us. So with that said, we also have hair care, skin care, body care, and supplements that we have at the clinic, and with a good natural health journey, which is increasing the consumption of your fruits and vegetables. We also encourage herbs, the use of herbs to clean and detoxify your system as well. So we have some herbal supplements that we encourage that you can look at our website or call and inquire about it. We have loose teas. We also have the cell support formula, which is excellent in cognitive, improving your cognitive function, as well as giving you energy, and actually even curbing the appetite, as well as our power food, which is excellent. And then we also have the male support, the female support, a whole host of loose teas that we have to help supplement you while you go on this journey of increasing consumption of fruits and vegetables. Okay, and then we also have the 28-day Renew Health Transformation Program that we do every month, as well as Renew Health Ultimate Weight Loss Plan that we do. The 28-day plan is regimented in terms of it occurs at certain times of the month for 28 days, whereas the Renew Health Ultimate Plan, you do not have to have a specific time. You can just call, join that, and we'll walk you through the program and help you through the program, and you will see a lot of weight loss as well as health benefits. So with that all said, also if you want a private coaching or private help, you just call the number and we'll be able to do private coaching with you via Zoom or in person. So with that said, I just want to let you all know that it's an awesome journey. We all have things that we're going through, and this will help you both psychologically, physically, and spiritually, because as I always say on this channel, that we are spirit, soul, and body. We're not just a physical body with nothing else going on. We're conscious beings, and this that's your spirituality, your soul, your mind, your emotions. Life happens, the things that your choices. So we just want to make sure that this is a whole package where you feel the most vibrant and well in this journey, and you express that to yourself as to the world. Okay, so today I wanted to kind of start another series called the Adrenal Gland. Okay, the Adrenal Gland, and we're probably going to have a part 1, part 2, part 3 in this series. So but I'm going to start with part 1 today, where I'm going to actually talk about the adrenal gland, because it's so big, and it's a little tiny triangular shaped organ or gland, but it does so much in our body. So the adrenal gland we have 2 kidneys. We have one on the left side, we have one on the right side. And so the adrenal gland is a triangular shaped gland that is on top of each kidney. So one on the right side and one on the left side. That's why it's called the adrenal glands. So now, and this little triangular shaped gland does so much. because like with any endocrine gland where they excrete like hormones right into the bloodstream, right? With any endocrine gland, you have two. This particular gland has two parts. It has the middle part and it has the outer part. Okay, so the middle part is called the adrenal medulla, and the outer part is called the adrenal cortex. The adrenal medulla, we're going to get into probably part 3 when we do this, but inside the adrenal medulla, you produce a lot of neurotransmitters that affects like a lot that moves through nerves or affects different nerves. And this also affects the sympathetic and parasympathetic, like when something scares you, you're trying to run from something, the sympathetic will kick in and it will help you run. Your heart rate will go faster, your blood will pump, faster. So this is all being occurring in the adrenal medulla, the neurotransmitters that are being produced or secreted from there. The adrenal cortex, and also that neurotransmitters also affects your whole body, basically. So we'll get into that later. But the adrenal cortex, also in that part, that which is the outer part of the adrenal glands, produces steroids. Okay, so it produces like cortisol, it produces like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, androsterone. So it produces a whole bunch of steroids that your body needs. Okay, how I think I want to approach this is not just do just pathophysiology, but basically connect it to diseases that you know or that you may be experiencing. So like your adrenal gland is fine when it's working, and it's also I'm going to also connect it to the foods that we eat. Okay, so over time, I've always talked about the foods that we eat, which are acid causing. It causes acidosis in your body, and with acidosis comes inflammation. So with the foods that we eat, such as, your animal flesh, especially red meat, your dairy, cheeses, milks, all of that, as well as your refined sugar, right? Like your sodas, your cakes, your pastries, like all those refined sugars, and your refined carbohydrate, processed food, fried food, potato chips, all those foods causes acidosis in our body. And with the acidosis come inflammation. And I call the inflammation the firefighter. Okay? And so when this is happening, and this takes time, over years, you're doing breakfast, lunch, dinner, your adrenal gland gets burned out. It gets tired. It gets weak. So remember I said that we have the middle part of the adrenal gland, which is the adrenal medulla, which releases neurotransmitters. Then we have the outer part, which is the adrenal cortex, which releases steroids. So as it gets weak, all of these functions are also weak, all right? Or they are not as efficient. So with that said, I'm going to drink a little water. With that said, now you have let's talk about the outer part, which is the adrenal cortex. Okay, so you have the adrenal cortex. Your adrenal gland was working fine, but over years of poor eating, dietary lifestyle with the foods that are causing this chronic inflammation going on, the adrenal gland is weakened. So with it being weakened, now the cortex, which is producing the steroids, is also weakened, is deficient, is not performing right? So the steroids are not being produced in efficient manner, right? So what does steroid actually do? Steroid in not the sex steroids, the sex hormone steroids, like the estrogen and the testosterone, but we're talking about the glucocorticoids, like the cortisol. Okay, these steroids are anti-inflammatory. What is anti-inflammatory? They fight against inflammation. So anti-inflammatory is a steroid that is fighting against inflammation. Okay, so now think about it, if your adrenal gland is weak, then guess what? That anti-inflammatory steroid is going to be produced in less numbers, and it's not going to be as, as productive and functional and maybe even in a greater number, right? So now all this inflammation is still going on because you have not changed what you're eating, right? So you have inflammation going on, like your osteoarthritis, bursitis, the Crohn's disease, the inflammatory bowel disease, the ulcerative colitis. What else? You getting fatty liver. Just you're getting obesity, type 1, type 2 diabetes. Like, there's a whole host of things that are causing inflammation in your system, or because based on the foods that we're eating, right? And so based on the food that we're eating, we are seeing all these symptoms happen. Now, inflammation in itself is not a disease. And I want you to understand that inflammation is your body's natural response, right? To, like, the immune system fighting something that is not supposed to be there. So that is your body saying, hey, you have given me something, I don't like it. So guess what? It is responding to it. It's trying to get rid of it, and it causes inflammation. And inflammation can occur and present itself as pain, a lot, swelling, right? Like, you can the body can bring like water and electrolytes there to try and buffer the inflammation. It can have heat, you can have redness. Those are all signs of inflammation. But one of the number one cause that we see is pain and swelling, right? That you see that. So how do you then combat this? How do you fight this inflammation? Your body is trying to fight it, but now the foods that you're eating hasn't changed, right? So you have your adrenal gland is weak and you're not producing as much steroids, which is, by the way, anti-inflammatory. So since it's anti-inflammatory, you don't have enough, so inflammation continues. So one of the easy ways to determine if your adrenal gland is weak is if you have a lot of chronic pain and inflammation going on. You probably have a weak adrenal gland and there's inflammation going on. So how do you stop that? You go back to the root of the problem. Stop the offending foods that you're putting in your body. I keep telling you on this channel, your body speaks to you every single day. It tells you when you put something in it, it tells you whether it likes it or whether it doesn't like it. It tells you whether it likes it because it will give you a positive physiological response, or it tells you when it doesn't like it because it's going to give you a negative physiological response. What are some of the signs of a positive physiological response? If you eat your fruits and vegetables, like I keep preaching on this channel, right? Your body is going to love it. You're not going to have as much gas. You're not going to be as bloated. You're not going to have acid, this acid reflux that people seem to have. You're not going to have that. You're going to sleep better. You're going to move your bowels better, right? You're going to think well. Think on your feet. You're not going to have all this cognitive decline and mental fogginess going on. You're going to be vibrant, okay? And this is consistently, because some people say, oh, I do it. No, you don't do it for one day. This is a lifestyle change. You have got to make these choices every single day. And then when you have bad days where I call them cheat days or bad days, then that's fine. You jump right back to this. But if you don't, and you consistently keep eating these foods, the adrenal gland is going to consistently be weak. And so that's one of the positive, some of the negative physiological response. Some of the positive is you're going to sleep better, okay? You're going to just have just an overall good well-being and happy and just content and energized and not as fatigued, and move your bowels well and just be positive. Just your whole body just responds so positively to what you're eating. Versus when you don't eat that way, you eat a high consumption of refined sugars, potato chips, refined carbohydrates, the cakes, the pastries, the animal flesh, the dairy, you get congested, right? Your body, why? Because your body is fighting it. Congestion, the excess mucus doesn't mean that your body is sick. It just means your body is saying, you have put something in me that I don't like and I'm trying to get it out. I don't like it. So what does it do? It's trying. There's an immune system reaction going, producing antibodies to try and force these things that you are putting in it out. So you get excessive mucus, you get congestion, you get inflammation, pain, you get some free radicals that are produced, you get cholesterol plaques, which we're going to talk about. You get cholesterol plaques, you get obstruction, you get constipation, like there's mucoid plaque that forms in the walls of the bowels. You get constipation. Some people get diarrhea, and that's just as bad as the constipation. Why? Because the diarrhea is you're not absorbing anything, so you're still going to experience malabsorption. Whereas the constipation, you can't even absorb because your store clogs up, so you are also going to experience malabsorption. You see, so all of it just ties in, and this is some of the negative physiological response that your body tells you. It speaks to you. It tells you if you eat something that your body doesn't like and it starts giving you gas, you got to look at it. You got to write down everything you eat and say, well, what did I eat yesterday while I'm experiencing this? You know what I mean? If you have excessive mucus and your body's just trying to get rid of stuff. Yes, your body tries to get rid of like viruses that comes in every day. But at the same time, it also tries and get rid of like some of the byproducts of these foods or the results of these foods that we are eating, that we are consuming, and it's trying to get rid of some of these foreign proteins that come in, right? So like foreign proteins from animal flesh, or foreign proteins from dairy, or foreign proteins from some of the trans fat, like all of this, the free radicals, it is trying to get rid of it. Your body is constantly trying to detox and heal you. It's amazing how God created the body. It is always trying to repel and get you healthy, okay? But if you keep putting in the same foods, then guess what? The inflammation is going to continue. So a lot of these inflammatory reactions that we're seeing, a lot of these bronchitis, itis, any itis, arthritis, some may be autoimmune, but even that is still also the root cause of it is the foods that we are eating, okay? So even your autoimmune diseases, you need to look at it because a lot of it is coming from the foods that we're eating, which is producing a lot of leaky guts, which is, the things like proteins, foreign proteins that the body is being absorbed or things like that, and it doesn't need to be, and so the body fights against it. The body forms antibody specific, non-specific, but it's attacking that foreign protein that comes in, and guess what? Then it also says, well, I see the same protein here because it's totally non-specific, and then it also attacks the different proteins that look similar to those proteins, those foreign proteins that it's trying to attack, right? And that's your body's normal way of attacking that foreign protein. But if it sees something similar to another, organ, right, or gland, then it's also going to attack it because it thinks it's a foreign protein. So it all boils down to the foods that we are eating, okay? We have got to change the foods that we are eating. I'm not trying to preach to you, but I promise you, if you listen, you'll see a whole lot of vitality and wellness in your body, okay? Because it is killing us. It is killing us. All of us, blacks, whites, Latinos, everybody, it is killing us. A lot of cancers, a lot of heart disease, a lot of problems that we see is because of the foods that we are eating. Yes, there is environmental problems, but guess what? You can't control the environmental problems. You can do very little to control it, but that's fine. But you can be aware of what you eat and what you put on your skin and what you drink. You can control that, okay, as much as you can. That the ball is in your court. You can't control or you can't help, the genes, the weakened genes that you inherited from your parents. We can't control that. We can't. We can't control, what pollution and all that's going on in the environment. We can't control that. But what we can control is what we put in our mouths in terms of what the foods that we eat, what we drink, and what we put in our skin. Okay, so I just want you to be aware of this. So all these inflammatory problems that's going on, all these pain and swelling and aches, it is because of your foods. How do you combat that? Eat alkaline foods. Eat the fruits and vegetables. Take a whole day and just do fruits with water. Nothing else, just fruits and water. When you start doing that, the fruits are alkaline in nature, and it's going to start detoxifying your body. Your body's going to start getting all the nutrients and stuff from the fruit, and it doesn't require as much energy to digest it, right? So then guess what? Your body is going to go right into detox mode and try and detox your body and get rid of all the stuff that it doesn't want or doesn't need to be there. And then all this inflammation and pains and itis and swelling and all that's going to start coming down. You're going to start feeling so much better. You're going to improve. You're going to start sleeping. I had a lady who, as soon as she did like the first week of fruit fast, I think I put her on Monday, Wednesday, Friday of fruits, and then she ate more of a plant-based meal on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then Saturday and Sunday evening, she ate like some lean meat with vegetables. And I promise you, that first week, she was so swollen, with hands swollen, legs swollen. That first week, she lost 10 pounds in just fluid alone. She just lost, well, it wasn't just 10 pounds in fluid, but she lost about maybe 5 or 6 pounds in fluid and maybe 4 pounds of weight. But she listened and she felt wonderful. She saw me, she's like, look at my hands, look at my legs, they're gone. They're not as swollen. I said, I know. I said, this thing works. This thing works if you stick to it. If you just stick to Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays of fruits, right? And just water. Don't add anything else to, just whatever fruits you like, just eat. If you stick to just that, I promise you, you're going to see such a tremendous difference in the way you feel. It is so important. So all this inflammatory or inflammations that's going on in your body, you have control of it, right? You can take anti-inflammatory medications, but you're also, even that, it will help for a little bit, but you're still going to, continue to take it. And then it's also affecting your liver because your liver has to process it. So remember that everything affects everything else. Okay, so that's one of the things that I highly recommend. Make sure you drink your water, stay away from sodas and fruit juices and, natural fruit juices. If you want any type of juice, juice your own vegetables, juice your own fruits and drink that. So that is very important. The other thing also that I wanted to tell you is that as you eat these foods and acidosis is occurring, your body is becoming more acidic, and then it also is causing this inflammatory reaction or inflammation going on throughout your body. There's also inflammation that's going on the walls of your blood vessels. And because your adrenal gland is weak, right? And if it wasn't weak, then the body would have prompted to produce steroids, right? And by the way, the cortisol, and by the way, the precursor of these steroids is also cholesterol, right? Cholesterol comes in to be one of the precursors to make these steroids. So if the adrenal gland is weak and these steroids or corticosteroids or glucocorticosteroids are not being produced, then guess what? Then the body has to find a way to still buffer out the inflammation. So guess who it turns to? It turns to the liver and says, make cholesterol. Make a lot of cholesterol. So cholesterol, by the way, is also anti-inflammatory. Just like steroids, cholesterol is also anti-inflammatory. So it also buffers against inflammation. So now you continue to eat this acid-forming foods, and the body says to the liver, hey, the adrenal gland is low, it's kind of weak, so it's not producing as much steroids, but there's still this inflammation going on. So I want you to produce, the liver, to produce cholesterol. So it produces cholesterol, and what the cholesterol does is it goes throughout the body to try and buffer this inflammation. And then it also goes to the walls of the blood vessels, and then it's trying to kind of work on this inflammation. Remember, inflammation is the fire, the cholesterol or the steroids are the firefighters. So in this case, the adrenal gland is weak, right? So the adrenal cortex, the outer part of the adrenal gland, is not able to produce as effective or efficient steroid production. So guess what? The liver now is producing the cholesterol. The cholesterol comes in and it goes to the walls of the blood vessels, and it starts, the firefighter, being the cholesterol, starts buffering out the fire, which is the inflammation. As time goes on and this occurs, you're going to have a high cholesterol in the body. Why? Because you're producing a whole lot of cholesterol to combat the inflammation. Also, you're also going to have this cholesterol clumping together, right, in the walls of the blood vessels, and that's where you get your cholesterol plaquing. So your cholesterol plaquing is not really a disease. It's just the body's way of trying to buffer out this inflammation in the walls. And over time, this cholesterol plaque in the walls of the blood vessels will build up and build up and build up because you haven't changed what you're eating. And eventually, you start having narrowing of the lumen of the blood vessel. Your blood pressure starts going up, right? Your cholesterol has gone up, and you start having some chest pains. So all of this can be changed, right? With just changing the foods that you eat. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Stay away from the dairy, the animal protein, the refined sugar, the fat, fried foods, the sugars like refined sugars like cakes and pastries and all that. Stay away from them. Even if you have to eat it once in a blue moon, should be your delicacy, but it shouldn't be an everyday meal. That is killing us. It is killing us, and we have the power to make a change and to take control of our health. You can renew your health. I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you have been. I don't care how sick you are. You can get some vitality, okay, to your life and wellness to your life. So, and then what the lipids also does is it clogs up, especially if you eat a high fat meal, and the lipids also clogs up, in your system, in your blood system, in your bloodstream, and then those lipids will also now go into your gallbladder. The clogged up lipids will go into your gallbladder and your liver to form stones. Okay, so the stones that you see in your gallbladder and your liver, these are lipid coagulation that have formed stones. Okay. The other thing is, because there's coagulation going on, or clumping together of the nutrients, clumping together of the lipids, clumping together of the minerals, these clumping is too big to enter into the small opening or pores of the wall, the cell wall. The cell in your body has wall. It's called the cell wall, and it has holes in them like pores. And so these clumped up nutrients and cholesterol cannot get into these pores, right? To get into the cell, right? So now you have food energy. You got food energy, but it's clumped up, so you can't get into the cell to get nutrients into the cell to make cell energy. So guess what happened? Which is ATP. So guess what happened? The cell is not starving. So you ate, you got food energy, but it's clumped up, and then your cells are starving. So eventually, over time, you get cellular weakness and cellular starvation. Why? Because you're not getting the nutrients into the cell. So it is a loop. It's a loop back. A loop effect. Okay. And then the clumped up nutrients can get in and then it forms free radicals, okay, and then it forms obstruction. So now you have to try and get rid of all of this, and all of this is also causing inflammation. Then you have the clumped up minerals. Now the clumped up nutrients, the nutrients are clumped up, the lipids are clumped up, the minerals are also clumped up, and the clumped up minerals will form stones, and these stones become your bursitis, your bone spurs, and it also becomes like your gout. It becomes because the gout, the uric acid will clump together and form crystals, right? And then these crystals will deposit into different joints, and then you get swelling and pain there too. Okay, and it's coming from the meats that you're eating. And then you also have these same clumped up minerals that form the stones will also now get into your kidneys and form kidney stones. So you get kidney stones from the clumped up minerals, as well as bone spurs and gout, and then you have gallstones and liver stones from the clumped up lipids. So this all can be changed, people, from the foods that we eat. Okay, just change the way that the foods that you eat, unless you don't want to get healthy. But if you want to get healthy and you're tired and sick of being sick and tired, then you can take that, you can take control. The control is not in your doctor's hands, because your doctor can tell you eat healthy. There's no doctors that's going to tell you don't eat, increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables, right? But then the doctor can tell you eat healthy or increase, your fruit and vegetables. It's up to you. He's telling you, he's giving you the knowledge, or she's giving you the knowledge, but then you go and do whatever you want. And if he's not at your house, he can't help you. He can't force you to do it. Ultimately, it's up to you. And then you come and your diabetes is not improving, your high blood pressure is not improving. Then he gives you one medication that's not working. Then he adds another second one. Then he adds a third one because you're not improving, because you are not changing what you're eating. And you blame everybody else but yourself. But you have the power. The power is not in your doctor's hands. The power is not in your spouse's hands. The power is not in your children's hands. It is in your hands. Nobody can do this for you but you. You have to get to the point where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And when you get to that stage, you will start making changes. Make a simple change of eating fruits and vegetables on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Just make that simple change. Drink water instead of soda and see how your life, and start just even a small walk if you can walk. If you can't walk and you're bedridden, just move your arms, move your legs, move your whatever. Just lay there and just whatever you can move, just move. Little changes make a huge difference, okay? And I can go on and on and on, but I wanted to read some things that I read, I saw, and I every time I get, motivated by something I read, or, it touches me, I feel like I need to share with you because it will also help you. It says, someday we will forget the hurt, the reason we cried, and who caused us pain. We will realize that the secret of being free is not revenge, but letting things unfold in their own way and own time. After all, what matters is not the first, but the last chapter of our life, which shows how well we ran the race. So smile, laugh, and forgive. Believe and always give your best. So it doesn't matter where you are in your journey. It doesn't matter who has hurt you, who hasn't hurt you, because emotional component has a lot. Emotional component and psychological component has a lot to do with this. You have got to be dedicated, you've got to be disciplined, and you've got to be consistent. There is nothing that comes easy without being dedicated, motivated, disciplined, and consistent. You got to do it day after day after day. And if one day fails, continue until you get it right. Continue. I also read this. It says, be kind, be fair, be honest, and all of these things will come back to you. So you always remember, what goes around comes around. So be kind, be fair, be loving, and it will come back to you. Life is like a book, people. Some chapters are sad, and some chapters are happy, and some exciting. But if you never turn the page, you will never know what the next chapter has in store for you. You have got this. You are stronger than you think. You've got this. So I want you to know that your health is in your hands. Renew your health, get vitality and wellness, and you will see and present to yourself and to the world your best self yet. God bless you. We're going to end here until we meet next week, which is on Thursday. We always post every Thursday. I want you to be strong, and I want you to know that you are stronger than you think. You are spirit, soul, and body. And this wellness journey is kind of taking care of all of that. Your spirit, your soul, which is your mind, body, and your mind, emotions, and your will to choose, and your body. You got this. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I know God loves you. I love you, but I know God loves you more. So until we meet next week, God bless you and have a wonderful week.